Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations and Repairs. I figured after, 8 years now, 7 years, 8 years, I think it's 8, that it was time to do an update on the Harbor Freight lift that I've got. Now, Harbor Freight currently is not selling these. A lot of the questions I get on this lift have to do with, the fact that they're not available anymore. Well, they are available under like every other name that they were ever made. Titan, Atlas, the list goes on and on. Just go to eBay and Google mid-rise automotive scissor lift, and this in a variety of colors will come up. I have said before, and now I have the proof, that these are all made at the same factory. These are all made by the same companies in China. And one of the few upgrades that I'll probably ever do to this thing has arrived, and I wanted to share it with you. If you take a look at this arm, and you take a look at this arm, you'll notice that this one sticks out maybe 10 inches, and this one sticks out maybe 15 inches. And that is the upgrade that I've done. I bought from Titan extended arms. So this is the stock arm, and I'll lay it right up against here, and you can see we're looking at another 8 inches of extension that's going on there. I'll get the camera off the tripod and show you what I mean up close, but this is an exact fit. In fact, you just unscrew the capture nut here, and you can use the original pieces. Now, I also bought a riser kit to allow you to stack it, so when I'm working on larger trucks. The reason I finally had to do this upgrade is cars just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's not so much that they get heavier, but they're just bloated. They're huge. In fact, the shop feels smaller anytime I work on anything newer than a 2015. But that's the way it is. American tastes have gone completely off the rails as far as I'm concerned. But if I'm going to work on customer cars, I have to be able to work on them safely. These kits here for the front and the rear, and I've only got 2 of them here, they are about 450 bucks for all 4. So it's not an inexpensive kit, but I was able to get that and the risers for less than 500 with shipping. So there was a Black Friday sale going on. I picked it up. Here's what the, I'll get a little closer in here and show you. So here's the original. Here's the original. And here is the extended. So you can see. But manufacturing wise, they are identical. I will say, actually, if I were going to look at it, I would say the welds on the Harbor Freight one are a little better. The welds on the Harbor Freight one go the whole way across, where the welds on the extended ones from Titan is a weld, and a weld. The entire line is not welded. I don't know that that matters that much. It is a little bit less, how do I put this, a little less comfortable for me to think that maybe one of those 3 welds fails and then we have a problem. Although I don't really see how that's going to cause me an issue. These plates are just welded together for rigidity, I guess. They both have the exact same size nut and bolt welded in there, and it's a lock nut. So once you put it in there, you don't actually tighten these down all the way. You just put them in enough that you have the slop to be able to, you can see here, I can actually move that up and down some. So yeah, so I've actually, 2 of these came right away, and 2 of them are on back order, but that and the risers came. But I wanted to share that with you. Let me get the camera off the tripod and show you what I'm talking about up close, so you see that you can get these for pretty much anything. So if you have a full-size van, or a full-size minivan, or a full-size truck, or something really wide. I mean, a lot of these SUVs, I'd imagine like the Explorer and stuff like that, have gotten so wide now that they no longer will fit on this rack in the primary lift points. Up until now, I've still been able to lift those vehicles, but I've had to use secondary lift points. Not unsafe, but not your primary lift point, and not a great first choice. So now I'll be able to go back to using the primary lift points, gives the vehicle and the lift more stability. Let's get the camera off, I'll show you what I mean. All right, hopefully from this angle you can see what I'm talking about, how much wider that is versus that. But let me walk you over here and show you side by side just how much we're talking about here. If I bring these together, that's about there, that's how much longer we're talking about here. And so most of the vehicles, even the widest vehicles I've worked on, it's usually only an inch or 2, but it really does make a difference when you have to go to secondary lift points. And so construction-wise, here's what I'm talking about, the Harbor Freight, the original. And granted, this is 8-year-old, where quality has done nothing but go downhill in this country, no matter where you buy your stuff from. That's a full weld. These here, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, so they don't go the whole length. Again, I don't know that it's that much of a difference. The only other thing I will say is the paint's a little cheaper This was kind of a gloss. It didn't have as much orange peel in it. This doesn't look like it'll hold up for as long. But beyond that, they both have capture nuts to hold things from sliding around, so we can move this without it falling off, so we'll never get that too far out. And then the riser kit, and let me grab one of them, I'll show you too. Right, you have that spot and you have that spot there. Well, now we just slide that in and you're adding, 4 inches or whatever it is, 3 inches. I think it's 4. And then you put that on top of it and you're good to go. So pretty cool setup there. It gives me the ability, I was stacking blocks, wooden blocks, and these are way, way safer than that. Stacking blocks is never a great idea. Again, in a pinch, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but you're taking your life into your own hands whenever you mess around with the way that something is supposed to be used. Beyond that, and I'll make a separate video on this because it's been many years since I have, everything else on the Harbor Freight lift has really held up. For my shop, with a roof line on the low side here of 11.5 feet, I can't get a full-size lift in here. And I've thought about raising the roof on this. In fact, we're probably going to have some people come out and look into it. But a lot of people ask, why didn't you just go ahead and get a full-size lift? It made no sense, right? There's 2 reasons that I didn't go with a full-size lift. Having to dig out the concrete for the posts, and the fact that it's wasted because I won't be able to use it to its full potential. That being said, if we do decide to lift the ceiling, this lift will get moved over to the other bay. It'll get over there, and then this will get a 2-post, one of the drive overs. That'll do it for today, my friends. I'll leave a link to where you can pick these things up. They are usually on back order because they're extremely popular. Many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these units have been sold. And I have no doubt that if you keep your eye on Harbor Freight, they'll come out with another one of these. They'll come out with them. They usually go for sale like twice a year, and then they're for sale for like a month, and then they disappear. It's amazing how quickly they come and they go. But they are still in production, and again, like you can go on eBay and find these things under Atlas. I think it's definitely Titan. I can't remember if it's Black Hat or something like that, or Blacksmith, something like that. There's many names for them, but they're all pretty much the same unit. Till next time, my friends, take care.